Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Very Sky Realty's video blog. I finally got through with Higgins, my father-in-law. Higgins had told me about his Social Security case. That's what I was curious about. Apparently, he's got like 2,000 documents for the judge. Personally, let me just tell you what I think, okay? Because I know Higgins is going to watch this and be like, oh, well, don't bring it up. Well, I don't think he's going to get it on the grounds that the government is going to run out of money beforehand, like Tildor said. I mean, they won't even be able to pay him a dime. I mean, look, Tildor said we're being played like fiddles. We just spent $500 million to Ukraine, right? Think about it from this point of view, okay? Tildor says we spent $500 to Ukraine. Well, he didn't say it in those terms. He said millions, but 500 million yesterday. And yet, get this. Are you ready for it? And yet, we can't spend $500 million to speed up Social Security claims. Makes you wonder, Think about that. That's what I was going to say. I wasn't trying to say Higgins isn't or isn't going to get it. But with the Social Security running out of money in 2026 by the Social Security Trust Fund, looks pretty bad. But we're not here to talk about trust fund. We're here to say, if you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and thumbs up button. If you're coming back, or welcome. So I'm going to try to make this 15 minutes or less. I got movie time coming up. And I get to monitor the channels tonight. So let's get to it. So anyways, Higgins and I were talking about the EMP problem. Right? Because Tildor said, oh, are your radios protected? There's something called Faraday bags that you put your electronics in. But honestly, I want to say I'm no expert, but I've been reading about the after effects of nuclear war, where the bomb gets dropped and then an EMP happens, right? You may find something on YouTube, or Higgins can find something for me, but the problem is I'm not an expert, okay? So don't sit there and say, oh, well, you said. No, I didn't say anything. What I'm saying is this. The American people need to realize that if you're going to, quote, unquote, if you're going to, listen to me, then you got to realize I'm not an expert. But, some say nuclear winter will happen. Some say nuclear winter won't happen. But the EMP, people keep asking about what happens. Well, to break it down into the short form, if there was an EMP, supposedly, one bomb, it could detonate and wipe out the entire electrical grid of the United States. But no one knows, truly. So I'm not an expert. I'm not an EMP expert. But if the bomb goes off 90 miles from me or 100 miles from me, hypothetically, or a missile, will it affect us? Well, it would, but it wouldn't. You see, you can turn off your power grid, but it still could cause an electrical current in the air to fry out all your electronics, so your electronics would be dead. Now, say your electronics aren't affected, but in a 5-mile radius, your electronics are fine, but what if your cell phones power towers are down because there's no power? What if you're sitting there at your home and the bombs go off? Say Higgins his is Detroit, right? Detroit and Ann Arbor and a couple other places. Let's just say Lansing was the third attack, right? He's out in Michigan. It might affect him in Lansing, but it won't affect him in Ann Arbor, Detroit, okay? But the only thing that will affect him is the wind. But there's a couple problems. You see, as he said, he's got a furnace. And the furnace exhaust goes all the way up to his roof. Yeah. So what do you do about it? You can look up materials on YouTube or Google to seal it up so you don't have the hood vent being used. So it doesn't just, Now, two, the EMP, let's just say it doesn't work. It doesn't go that far out. Because I'm on an island. We have a lot of islands buffering each other, right? It could just fry. The electronics could go up to a point, then fry out, then spread out, but it doesn't attack us, right? because we're on an island, supposedly. But let's just say hypothetically we're on an island, right? I'm not an expert in EMPs, but if in case an EMP wiped out, it wouldn't just be your phone service gone permanently. You'd be in the dark ages. That means your radios wouldn't work, your TVs wouldn't work, your computers wouldn't work, your cars wouldn't work. Higgins had to bring the car argument into it because the car argument was cars got computer chips. USB cables. Remember, I just got these, right? There's computer chips in these cables, by the way. Look at these. There's computer chips in these cables. They would be fried. Laptops would be fried. Desktops would be fried. PS3s, PS4s, PS5s. The entire electro grid would be fried, barbecued, sizzled, gone. You can't maintain and protect everything you own. So you gotta basically make a choice what you want to protect and why. I wouldn't protect my phone because it's cheap. Secondly, phone wouldn't work anyways. Would I want to protect this if I had a new one? No. Because again, it's not going to work even on Wi-Fi. They can fry out your router. Your router's dead. They can fry... electromagnetic pulse can also semi-fry out your microwaves. Your computerized controlled refrigerators. There's a lot of people that have it. Sometimes there's a computerized controlled sinks or jetted tubs or hot tubs. Fried. Think of anything with a computer chip. Gone. Stone Age. IRS records? Gone. Tax records? Higgins would love that. Gone. Computer cars? Gone. Now Higgins said, oh, well, the great commodity is horses and ox and cows that would be traded. No. If the wind's moving around, your cows, your horses, and your ox, they're good as dead anyways from radiation. Think about it. Everything you're thinking about in an EMP would come true. Nothing would work. Yeah. That means no YouTube. And I made a joke with Higgins. Now, this is just a joke. Please don't take my humor as black humor or dark humor. But how many people in the world who's addicted to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, would be going out of their gourd without internet? Yeah, think about it. Half of them would lose their mind because their apps won't work and they can't talk to their friends. The other half of the people would lose their mind because they can't communicate with their family. Think about it. What's more important? Alright, well, now let me picture this. Alright? Higgins' mom's 1 mile away from him. Right? Chloe's mom is in Ohio. Right? My father-in-law is outside of Cleveland. Right? Cleveland's a big city, could be nuked. I live on an island. Right? I used to live in the desert. But I moved. I used to live in the desert, then I moved to another desert town, then I moved out here. Now picture this. God put me here for a reason. Now, for the sake of the argument, you're sitting there going, okay. For the sake of the argument, Higgins' dad, I don't know where he lives, okay? Higgins never explained this to me, but unless Higgins heads up to a remote cabin that he keeps talking about, or cottage, he's screwed. Yeah. Cottage would be the best place to be if you can live there without, But if then, thing is, once there's nuclear, people say, oh, well, we have the technology to shoot it down. Higgins doesn't think so. But for the sake of the argument, let's just say we shoot them all down. We're safe. Now, let's just say for the other side of the coin, we couldn't shoot them all down. And there's so many of them that nuked out our cities, right? Power grids are down, phone services are down. I said a lot of people would probably kill themselves due to the fact that A, they didn't prep. B, a lot of them lost their marbles without an internet, cell phone service, whatever, right? But for me, think of it, the real problem is living in a bunker like I do. Two things. No communications, family couldn't contact me. I'd be wondering if my family in Texas lived, but I'd still stay put. I'd worry about my family in Colorado living and wonder if they lived. I would wonder if my family in Nevada lived, sister, or my sister and her family in Alaska lived. The people in Missouri, I wouldn't care. They don't care about me, I don't care about them. So what's that tell you, people? I love all of you. And I want you to know. Think about your family. If you have family living with you, you got to look after them. If you don't have family to look after, then don't worry about it. Because frankly, there's nothing to worry about. Me? Proof's in the pudding, people. I'm not an expert in EMPs, but if EMP wiped out things, you gotta ask yourself, how long until hell freezes over? How long? How long? Power grids go out. EMP can wipe out your power. Without power, like Higgins said, his sump pump won't work. His basement can be flooded. Without power, some people's pumps that pump the crap into their septic tanks won't work. For some, their pumps won't work for the water in their wells. Think about it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Not to mention your cars might be fried, so how are you going to get anywhere? Without cars, you're screwed. Without power, your pumps for your basement, your sump pumps, I believe, for your septic tanks and your sump pump for your wells won't work. Not to mention, without power, gas can't be pumped in, so you can't use your natural gas if you have natural gas for your heaters or your stove. Then what? What do you do then? Think about it. EMP wipes out a lot. It could wipe out. And everything that is managed and monitored is pretty well computerized. Think about it. There's computer chips in the electric companies that manage your electric companies, your gas companies, your water companies. Computer chips for those new digital jobbies that check your power meter, your kilowatt per hour. You have computer chips that help with the pumping of the natural gas in. You got computer chips managing and controlling your sewage treatment plants. Think of that, sewage treatment plants. We have a sewage treatment plant down at the bottom of the hill. That would be backed up. It would overflow. Toilet might be gravity fed, but the thing is, it would start backing up into the pipes. Eventually, the entire city would be completely overfilled with everyone's waste if they stayed. Think about it. Ferry systems wouldn't run computerized. Most of the ships in the ports have navigation, computerized, Doppler radar, everything like that. Everything would go. Think about it. Think about that. I'm not an expert. So if someone's an expert at EMPs, let me know. Because frankly, question is, are you prepped? Are you ready to go? Because when it happens, it happens. You got to stay put. You got to make sure you know what's going on. I'm not an expert in EMPs. But I reckon the entire world would go back to the Stone Age. Which reminds me, as I was talking to Poppy the other day, told this to Higgins. Higgins wants to use a ham radio, right? Well, let me just say, picture this as a ham radio. And Higgins is like, hey, Mom, how are you? Instead, EMP fries out your ham radio. No one in the ham radio world's going to be using a ham. It's all fried out. That means CB's fried out, hams are fried out, GMRS, FRS. Think about it. How are you going to communicate? Eventually, maybe the mail service will deliver letters, and you can see if your family's still alive by writing a letter. if and when it gets to the destination of the Pony Express. Think about it. Chew on that. It's the truth. How do you handle an EMP and lose all your electronics and go back to the dark age? That's the topic. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestion, hit the like, subscribe button. Hold some fun for your family, including your dogs, cats, your bunnies, service dogs, service bunnies. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button. Just keep the comments nice. All we ask. Thank you. God bless you and everything you do.